Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to tackle a question that sounds so simple, you're probably thinking, I know the answer to that. What exactly is a cause? It seems totally obvious, but trust me on this. Stick with me, because the answer might just change the way you look at, well, everything.
I mean, you see it constantly, right? Lightning flashes, and then you hear the thunder. You flip a switch, a light comes on. One thing seems to just directly and powerfully make another thing happen. It feels like the most basic, fundamental rule of the universe. Simple stuff.
So let's get a picture in our heads. The classic example. A white billiard ball is rolling across the table. It smacks right into a red one. And the red ball immediately shoots off. The first ball's hit caused the second ball's motion. We see it happen. Bam, clear as day.
But wait a minute. Hold on. Let's look closer. I mean, really look. You see the first ball moving. You see the two balls touch. Then you see the second ball move. But can you actually see the causation? Can you point to the force, the power, that invisible glue connecting the two events? Where is it? That's the mystery we're about to unravel. Now, to crack a case like this, we're going to need a detective, and ours is the brilliant 18th century philosopher David Hume. And like any great detective, he's got this killer toolkit for thinking, a way to slice through all the confusion and get to what's real.
So here's his number one tool. Hume says that everything that happens in your mind comes in two basic flavors. First, there are impressions. These are the real deal, direct, vivid sensations and feelings, like the actual feeling of warmth from the sun on your skin. Then you have ideas, which are just faint copies of those impressions. They're the memory of the warmth you felt later on.
And this leads us to the key to Hume's unbreakable golden rule for this entire investigation. For any idea to be meaningful, we have to be able to trace it back to an original direct impression. If you can't find where it came from, if you can't find that source feeling or sensation, then the idea, it's just noise. It's meaningless.
And here's how that works in practice. Our minds are incredibly creative, but they don't just invent things from scratch. We can imagine a golden mountain, right? Why? Well, it's simply because we've had a real impression of gold and a real impression of a mountain. Our brain just mashes them together. Every single complex idea we have is just built from these simple sensory pieces.
Okay, so now we've got our tool. We're armed with Hume's golden rule. It's time to start the investigation. We're officially on the hunt for the original impression that gives us our whole idea of cause.
So where do we start looking? The most obvious place, right? The world outside our heads. Let's go back to those billiard balls. When that white ball hits the red one, do we actually perceive some kind of secret force, some invisible energy that passes between them?
And the answer is nope. All our senses ever tell us is that one event is followed by another. Event A happens, and then event B happens. They're always together, sure, but we never ever actually see the connection itself. There's no sensory data for causation. So our first lead, it's a total dead end.
All right. Plan B. If the impression isn't out there, maybe it's in here. Think about it. You decide to raise your arm, and poof, up it goes. It feels like we have a direct internal experience of our mind causing our body to move. This has to be it, right? And wrong again. Hume points out this is just as big a mystery. I mean, why can you tell your fingers to move but not your liver? You have no idea. You don't know which specific nerves and muscles you're commanding. Plus, a person who is paralyzed can will their leg to move with all their might. They can feel that internal power, but nothing happens. So that feeling can't possibly be the real connection.
So we've hit a wall, a complete dead end. We've looked outside of us, we've looked inside of us, and we cannot find the original impression for cause. And according to Hume's golden rule, this is a huge problem. It means our idea of a necessary connection might be totally meaningless. And if that's true, our whole understanding of how the universe works could just crumble. But just when it seems like the case has gone completely cold, the investigation takes this absolutely brilliant turn. Hume realizes we've been looking for the clue in all the wrong places. This is the breakthrough moment. See, the mistake we've been making is staring at just one event, watching 1 billion ball hit another, trying to find the connection right there. You could watch that single event happen 1,000,000 times, and you would never, ever find it. Because the crucial clue isn't in any single moment. The secret is in the repetition. It's in what happens inside our minds after we've seen the same thing play out over and over and over again.
Okay, let's slow this down, because this is the heart of the whole discovery. The first time you see one ball hit another, it's just a sequence of events. But after you've seen it happen 100 times, something incredible happens. Your mind, this amazing pattern recognition machine, it forms a habit. It builds a little mental shortcut. And because of that habit, the moment you see the first ball rolling towards the second, your mind automatically, it just leaps forward. You expect the second ball to move. And that feeling right there, that internal push, that feeling of expectation that carries your thoughts from the cause to the effect, that is the original impression we were hunting for all along. It was never out there in the world. The necessary connection was never between the billiard balls. It was a feeling of connection inside our own minds, a feeling that our own brain created out of habit. We literally project that feeling onto the world and call it causation. So, this gives us a whole new definition of cause, one that's based only on what we actually experience. Hume gives us two versions, really, that are two sides of the same coin. The objective version just describes the pattern in the world. Event A is always followed by event B. The subjective version describes what happens in our heads. Seeing event A makes us think of event B. And notice what's missing from both definitions. Any talk of secret powers or mysterious forces. It's just patterns in the world and the habits they create in our minds.
And the implications of this are just staggering. It means we never really see cause and effect at all. We just infer it. It means that necessary connection we feel so strongly isn't actually a feature of reality. It's a feature of our own psychology. And this is the big one. It means our entire foundation for understanding the world isn't built on some kind of pure absolute logic. It's built on habit. We believe the sun will rise tomorrow, not because of some logical proof, but because it always has before.
Which leaves us with one final massive question to chew on. If the ironclad laws of nature that all of science is built on are at their very core just deeply ingrained habits of the human mind, what does that really mean for how certain we can be about anything at all?